Bleacher Report put out an article highlighting 8 realistic MLB trades that could happen during this offseason, and the Red Sox were included in 2 of them. We're going to break those down on today's video, but before we do, when the Red Sox inevitably make a trade, and I believe they're going to make at least one trade this offseason, we're going to have a video for you guys, everything you need to know. So hit that subscribe button if you have not already, because this is the one-stop shop for all things Boston Red Sox news, rumors, highlights, updates, everything under the sun. Our goal by opening day is 10,000 subscribers. We're getting there. We're less than 4,000 away. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button right now. Welcome back into another edition of the Red Sox Rundown, back in the home setup for the weekend. Hope you all are having a great day. My name is Jack Lotteray. I'm the host of the channel. Zachary Reimer of Bleacher Report put out an article titled 8 Realistic MLB Trades That Could Happen in the 2025-26 offseason. And as I said in the cold open of this video, the Red Sox are involved in 2 of them. Now, I don't think that there's any secret that the Red Sox are going to be aggressive and they're going to be active. They were aggressive last offseason with trades. They traded for Carlos Narvaez. They traded for Garrett Crochet, just to name 2. They both happened on the same day. And I think the Red Sox will be heavily active in the trade market this offseason once again. And the 2 names that we've all been talking about are the names that are highlighted in today's video. We got a Jarren Duran trade, and we've got a trade around Joe Ryan. Let's start with Jarren Duran. If you watched yesterday's video, I went into detail on why I think Jarren Duran will be the outfielder that is traded this offseason. I think we all understand that an outfielder probably will be and probably should be traded this offseason, because you have a medley of 7, 8 options in the outfield at the major league level. Just too many. It's too many mouths to feed. And if you can make a trade for if you can trade away an outfielder and get something back in return, that would be highly valuable. And Bleacher Report proposed a trade. Guess who? AJ Preller and the San Diego Padres, getting Jarren Duran. And of the 2 trades, I actually like this one a lot, and I think this could be a realistic option. However, I do think San Diego probably says no, but I'll get into that in a second. Here's the trade proposal from Reimer of Bleacher Report. The Padres get Jarren Duran, and they get Masataka Yoshida. So my number 5 key to a perfect offseason yesterday was offloading Yoshida's contract. So the Padres get Jarren Duran, and they also take on Masataka Yoshida. The Red Sox, in return, get Jeremiah Estrada, relief pitcher, and Ethan Salas, their number 1 prospect. He is a catching prospect in their system. I'm going to read Zachary Reimer's thoughts, and then I'll get into my thoughts. But here's what Zachary Reimer had to say about a Jarren Duran trade. He said, since all signs point to the Padres badly wanting Duran, the idea behind this proposal would be for Boston to leverage their desperation by getting them to also take Yoshida, who is also owed $18.6 million in salary from 2026 and 2027. It wouldn't be purely a salary dump, though. Duran has enough value to for the Red Sox to demand something in exchange. In this case, an immediately usable pitcher and a lottery ticket prospect. Before I give my thoughts on this trade, you let me know. Would you trade Jarren Duran? I'm not talking about this trade in particular. Would you trade him at all? Because this is going to be a hotly contested debate that we have all offseason long, because a lot of people love Jarren Duran, myself included. But you let me know. Why for yes and for no would you trade for Jarren Duran? I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If I were Craig Breslow, if I were the Red Sox, I would say yes to this in a heartbeat. I would say yes to this trade. 1, you are breaking up the outfield logjam that you have. 2, you are offloading Masataka Yoshida's contract. That is 2 of my keys to a perfect offseason already done before you even talk about what you get in return. Because in return, you're getting Jeremiah Estrada, who, yeah, he's not the best reliever in their bullpen, but their bullpen is one of the best in all of baseball. This season, in 73 innings, he had a 3.8 4.5 ERA, 108 Ks to only 27 walks, and a FIP of 3.55. So that ERA you'd probably like to be down a little bit more, but he could be a perfect middle of the bullpen reliever that you could use right now with the likes of Steven Matz and Justin Wilson, among others, probably not going to be back next year because they're free agents. So you would instantly get a reliever in your bullpen that is decent to good, and you'd be offloading Yoshida, and then you'd be breaking up the outfield logjam. That all sounds great to me. And then on top of that, you're getting their number one prospect in Ethan Salas. Keep him in the minors, see if he matures into something great, or he could be your backup. He could be the Carlos Narvaez backup. Connor Wong, while he played well towards the end of the season, for a majority of the season was a non-factor. If Ethan Salas is that guy, make him your backup catcher. I'm not saying he is. I think he still has a few years to grow and mature, but this is like a major, major win for the Red Sox. You are absolutely fleecing the Padres in this trade because, again, you do have to go with Duran. Great. But we talked about this in yesterday's video. Duran is not who he was in 2024. He has regressed both offensively and defensively. If you could trade him while also getting off of Masataka Yoshida's contract, while bringing back an immediate reliever in your bullpen plus a potential high-level prospect, I'm making a video called The Red Sox Committed Highway Robbery. They can't keep getting away with this. That would be an incredible trade for Boston. It would not be a great trade for San Diego. I think San Diego says no to this. They might say yes to just Jeremiah Estrada. I don't think they say yes to both Estrada and Ethan Salas because, Duran, good. AJ Preller wants Jarren Duran. It's been clear for years now. There's been stories documenting that he wants Jarren Duran. So that makes sense. But I don't think Duran holds enough value for them to also take on Yoshida's contract and then give you back 2 trade chips in return. I just don't see that being something that AJ Preller would do. I don't care how much he wants Jarren Duran. I don't think he would do that. Again, maybe he gives you Jeremiah Estrada and takes on Yoshida's contract, but you're not going to get Jeremiah Estrada and Ethan Salas for Duran and Yoshida. And that's not Duran's fault. That is them taking on Yoshida's contract. Now, maybe the Red Sox eat some of that money, then maybe they take on Estrada and Salas, but I don't see a world where that happens. I don't think that trade would happen because that would be so starkly favoring the Red Sox. And the Padres, it's just like, what version of Jarren Duran are you going to get? He is at least a bit of a question mark at this point. I'm not saying he's a huge question mark, but we've already talked about it. He's older. He doesn't have a lot of years of team control left, and he regressed. It just is what it is. So I think that the Padres say no, but it's definitely an interesting thought. If they came to Craig Breslow and said, hey, we'll do this, Craig Breslow should be running to the phone and saying, yes, we'll take that trade right now. We're going to get into the second trade. This one is spicy. So stick with me. Stay tuned for that one. But first, I'm going to ask you guys one more time. If you have not already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Like I said off the top of the show, if the Red Sox make a trade, we're going to have a video for you guys instantly. You're going to be the most knowledgeable Red Sox fan in your friend group, family, office, wherever you are, if you subscribe to this channel. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't miss out, because we're going to have you covered every single day with the latest Red Sox news and rumors. Okay. This one is a little spicy. So it is Joe Ryan trade. I already told you that off the top of the video. But it's the actual trade details itself that are a little spicy. It's a fairly simple trade. We've been talking about Joe Ryan. How many prospects is it going to take? What type of package is it going to look like? There was reports that they were packaging Stinson Garcia and one of Peyton Tolley and Franklin Arias for Joe Ryan. Top prospects in the system. According to Zachary Reimer, it's pretty simple. The Red Sox get Joe Ryan. The Twins get Marcelo Mayer. And that's it. Full stop. That is the trade proposal by Bleacher Report. I think it's an insane trade proposal. Not for the Red Sox. If the Twins came over to the Red Sox and say, hey, we'll give you Ryan for Mayer, I would say, okay, great, thank you. But for the Twins, I'll get into my thoughts in a second. Would you accept this trade? A for accept, D for decline. Like I said, if the Twins came to me and said, hey, we'll give you Joe Ryan, all you got to give us is Marcelo Mayer, I would say, thank you, yes, bring him over. But you let me know. Maybe you are so attached to Marcelo Mayer that you would not give him away. He is one of your untouchables. Type A for accept, type D for decline. You let me know down below in the comments. So like I said, I would say yes in a heartbeat. I'm going to have a video coming out tomorrow that is 5 Red Sox trade candidates. And in that video, I talk about my 4 untouchable players that should not be a part of any trade no matter what. Those players are Roman Anthony, Garrett Crochet, Carlos Narvaez, and Connolly Early. Those are my 4 untouchables this offseason. Everyone else should be on the table in some way, shape, or form for any trade. And so Mayer should definitely be on the table. Here's what Zachary Reimer had to say on this trade. He said, Joe Ryan, 29, isn't a household name, but he's as good of a number 2 as the Red Sox can hope to put behind Garrett Crochet. He's allowed barely more than 1 base runner per inning over the last 2 years, mainly by way of a fastball that is quietly among the best in the game. As Ryan is controlled through 2027, he would be worth the risk of parting with Mayer. Indeed, holding Mayer would likewise come with the risk of on account of his injury history, which is getting more extensive every year. And Reimer at the end of that quote is exactly my problem, is exactly why I think Minnesota would, 1, not propose this trade, and 2, if the Red Sox proposed it, would say, absolutely not, we need more. Mayer has yet to prove that he can play an entire season in professional baseball, not just even in the pros, in professional baseball. He has not had, I believe the status, he has not had a season over 100 games. You guys can fact check me on that. I don't have it up in front of me, but I believe the stat is like he has not played over 100 games in any season in his professional career. That's a problem when he was drafted in 2021 or like 2020 or 2021. Like, that's a problem. And we saw it again this year when he got hurt with a wrist injury that he had suffered a few years before. So you're trading away who I would assume the Twins are going to consider their ace over the next few years. You're trading away either your ace or your number 2 for a highly touted prospect, shortstop, middle infielder that has a huge injury history and has yet to prove any which way that he can sustain health. So I think it's kind of an insane trade because like Joe Ryan is going to be, in my opinion, the most highly sought after pitching target on the trade market this offseason, I think. And just Marcelo Mayer, who Reimer notes has an extensive injury history, there's no way in hell that trade would ever get done. And if it did, I would really be questioning what's happening with the Twins. In recap, finishing off the video, I actually want to push this back because my camera is kind of bobbing back and forth. In recap, I think both trades would be declined by the other team, not the Red Sox. If either of those trade proposals were proposed to Boston, Breslow should be running to the phone saying yes, because I think the Red Sox win both of those proposals. However, I do think that both of the other teams, would clearly say no. I think the Joe Ryan from Marcelo Mayer is a clear no. I think Minnesota laughs you out of the building. And then the Padres trade, while it's close, I think it's probably a little too much going back to Boston, in my opinion. All right, we're going to get out of here. But first, this is the question I'm going to end you guys on today. Name a player you think the Red Sox should trade for. And please do not say Paul Skeens. It's not happening. I said that in yesterday's video, and I still had like 2 or 3 people comment Paul Skeens. Please do not comment Paul Skeens because that's not going to happen. If it did, then hell will freeze over and I will cry. But name a realistic player the Red Sox could trade for. Joe Ryan is number 1 on my list. There's quite a few others as well. It's going to be a very interesting offseason, though. I'm interested. The Red Sox are going to be involved in trades. I can guarantee you that. Do they execute? That's another question. Do they bring in the guys we think they should bring in? That's another question. But they are going to be active. That's all that matters at the end of the day. That's where we're going to end it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Before you get out of here, go follow me on Twitter. at Jack Lotteray. I'm going to have it linked down below in the comments and description of today's video. That is where you get instant reactions / analysis to anything that happens Boston Red Sox. I'm also tweeting out injury updates, retweeting and reposting injury updates every single day around the Sox. And that's the best place where you can also reach out to me via DMs. I don't really ever check my Instagram DMs. It's hard with notification stuff. I just don't know. Twitter is so seamless with DMs. Like, that's where you should go. Like, if you got a question or you want to ask me a question, is on Twitter. So go follow me. It's at Jack Lotteray. Ask me down below in the comments and description of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow with another full-length video as well and a short. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, go Sox.